Hello everyone. So today we would be looking into our first practical or our first experiment for the subject heat transfer, that is heat conduction in a metal rod. Okay, so I'll explain you the setup. Our actual setup looks very similar to the setup that I'm been showing you in the screen. So over here there is a metal rod. Okay, probably it is made up of brass or copper or any solid metal rod. All right. So there's a metal rod inside, and it has been insulated with asbestos material throughout. Okay. And what happens is there is a heating element on one side of the rod, so that basically we can heat up one end. Okay. And simultaneously with time, what happens is the temperature rises throughout. Okay. And the basically the conduction occurs in the rod, and finally it reaches till here. And on the other end, what we would be doing is we would be supplying water through a water reservoir. So there is this input of water. So the water comes in from the bottom, then it goes, there is a water jacket around the rod, and basically the water comes out of this pipe. Okay, so the what happens is, since the temperature of the rod would be higher than the temperature of water that is coming in through this section, so the water will basically absorb heat from the rod, and hence the water which comes out of the rod or this cooling water jacket will be comparatively hotter than water that is coming inside. Okay, so finally it goes out through this drain. And yeah, and the other setups that is over here in the experiment are, there is a voltmeter. Okay, you can vary the voltmeter with this variable variable adjustment. You can vary the voltage. And there is a ammeter. So for a particular voltage, a particular the current would be set up. And there are basically thermocouples which are set up at various location across the tubes or across the rod. Okay, so the temperature is basically indicated over here, and there is a thermocouple indicator. Okay, so basically you can see if it's, I will try to enlarge the screen. So over here it is written 1, this part is 1, 2, it's written 1. And I mean there are various number. So when you know it's like a regulator of a fan. If you rotate it, it will show the temperature or related to the particular thermocouple. So each numbers are basically assigned one thermocouple to it. Okay, so as you rotate the regulator, the temperature would be indicated. The temperature would be indicated. Okay, and the thermocouple, so for our case, let me see. Okay, we have 5 thermocouples. Okay, so across the length of the rod, there are 5 thermocouples. So if suppose the rod is suppose 100 mm long. Okay, so the thermocouple would be equally will be there in equal distance. So suppose 0, then 20, and so on. Okay, so there would be thermocouples basically at equal distance throughout the rod. Okay, so suppose T1 is the point over here, which will definitely have the highest temperature, since this area would have the highest heating input. Okay, and the temperature so far decreases as the uh, length of the rod as it goes across the length of the rod. Okay, and these thermocouples are nothing but basically it detects temperature. Those are basically sensors which detect temperature. And there are two thermocouples. Okay, this thermocouple actually you can see over here. It's in bundle, so it basically it is, you know, it. I suppose there is a rod over here. For example, I'll just try to demonstrate. Suppose there is a rod. Okay, and this thermocouples would be attached to the rod at equal distance. Okay, and it comes out like this. Okay, so basically this thermocouple, say T1, will only indicate the surface temperature of this part only, which is attached to the rod at this location, and T2, T3, T4, T5, and so on. Okay, so I guess till here there's no doubt. Now moving on. This is this was the entire thing about the setup. Now there are two more thermocouples which are attached over. One is over here, and the another one is, it should be somewhere here. Okay, so basically it will take the temperature of the water which is coming inside, and this one over here will take the temperature of water that is coming outside. Okay, so the hotter part is actually being demonstrated with a red pipe. Okay, so this is all about the setup. Now the aim of this experiment is basically we need to find out what is the thermal conductivity of the metal bar. Okay, we need to find out the value of K. So in order to find that, we would be taking these following this shown readings. The first one is voltmeter reading. Okay, yeah, so the first one is voltmeter reading. Voltmeter reading, as I have shown you in the figure, you can get it directly in the voltmeter, which you can adjust with this regulator. Okay, and similarly you will get ammeter reading. So as I have mentioned before, the heat transfer that occurs through a material is very much analogous to the current which goes through a conductive material. All right, so what would be, heat is a type of energy, and the electricity, that is the product of voltage and current, that is the power of electricity, is also a type of energy. Okay, so from that we can say that the input current, or basically sorry, the input power, or basically the heater input, how much would be the heat given by the input, we can directly calculate by the product of voltage and current, V into I. Whatever answer we will get, it's in watts. Okay, which is the unit of our energy also, right? The heat energy. So heat input is given by watts, we can get it over here. Now there are temperatures. So as soon as you plug on and you set a voltage, afterwards you have to wait for 10 minutes. So the reason behind waiting for 10 minutes is because we are looking into an experiment where it should reach steady state condition, right? So in order to get a condition where there is no change in the properties of material with respect to time, what we need to do, it should be in that case it is called as a steady state, right? So In order to achieve that, we usually wait for 10-15 minutes after turning on the setup and setting up a voltage. Then we start taking the readings. Okay, we first take the reading of temperature T1, okay, by adjusting this regulator over here. Then the second T2, then T3, T4 and T5. Okay, basically you just have to rotate the regulator in order to get all this temperature. Now, after that, the cooling water temperature is given by T6 and T7. This also you will get in the same regulator that I have shown. Okay, so till here I don't think there is any doubt. Okay, afterwards we need to find out what is the volume of cooling water collected. Okay, how much volume at a particular instant of time, we are collecting. Okay, so that we can collect it from the output. Okay, now as I mentioned, this output over here, it goes to you can divert this line to some reservoir or a little storage space, and you can basically calculate for a particular instant of time. Suppose you take 10 seconds, how much is the volume of water that has been collected. Okay, so in order to find out the volume, you just need to take the dimension of length and breadth of the tank, and after 10 seconds you just calculate what is the height it reaches. Okay, so you have length, you have breadth, and with a measuring instrument like scale, you can find out what is the height of the water that has reached, and finally you can with all these parameters you can find the volume. So once you have volume and once you fix a time, so the next parameter that you can find is basically the discharge. Okay. So the next parameter that you can find out is basically discharge. So discharge is nothing but the volume upon time. Okay. Volumetric discharge, basically. This we can call this as volumetric discharge. Okay. Now we have volumetric discharge. Okay. So in order to find out the value of K, we are going to use a very simple equation, or basically we know this equation. We have covered this up in our lecture also, which is famously known as Fourier's conduction equation, which is nothing but Q equals to minus K A. A is basically the cross section area, dt upon dx. Okay, right, you can get it from here. And but we need to find out what is the heat transferred, what is the basically the heat transferred through this rod, through this metal rod, and ultimately what is the value of Q which is transferred over here. So if I want to find out what is the value of Q from here, we are going to use a very simple formula, which is Q equals to mCp delta T. Okay, so mCp delta T, where delta T is nothing but the change in temperature or the rise in the temperature change. Hence, there are two thermocouples we have attached in order to find out the temperature difference. So we can also equate this, with the formula mCp delta T. Okay, or mCp T7 minus T6. Okay, so T7 and T6 are nothing but the cooling water temperature of input and output. Okay, so if you keep K on one side, if you just keep K on one of the side and substitute the other terms on the other side, okay, so what ultimately you can get is the value of K. Okay, so this was the part that you need to know. But what about the values? Do you know what are the different values? Yes, we know temperatures T6 and T7. Cp of water is basically a constant, and we usually take it as Cp is equals to 4.187, right? And mass, okay. So m dot, we need to find out what is the value of m dot. So we can get the value from here. It's very easy. We know that the volume discharge is given by this formula. Hmm? Now, if suppose I want to find out what is the weight discharge, okay, or okay, so we can multiply. We know the formula that mass equals to volume into density, okay, or else volume equals to mass upon density, right? So if I want to find what is the mass, okay, so I just need to multiply this volume discharge into its density, okay, and density of water is how much? It is 1000 kg per meter cube. Okay, so just multiply this term with 1000 and you will get m dot, mass flow rate. Okay, this was basically volume flow rate, and from that we come to mass flow rate. Now once you get m dot, you can substitute the value of m dot over here. So you have m dot, you have Cp, you have delta T, you have all these values, right? Now on the other side, that is on the left hand side, area of cross section. Okay, so over here, let me just draw it for the sake of understanding. So we are considering that there is a rod, right? So let me just draw a simple rod, okay, and sorry, okay, this looks good. Okay, so there is a rod, right? Now we are transferring heat from one end to another by conduction. Okay, so which is the area which we would be considering? It would be this one. The area that we would be considering would be the this area. Okay, right, perpendicular. So it can be, it's basically nothing but a circle. So the cross section area can be given by, I'm sorry, cross section area can be given by pi by 4 into d square. Okay, so the diameter of the rod would be given to you already. So pi by 4 d square will give you area of cross section. Now this term dt by dx. Okay, for this term you would have to do little bit of calculation in a graph. So for that let us consider a graph with x and sorry yeah with x and y axis. Okay, and in x axis we are basically taking distance L. We would be considering L, and suppose on this axis we are considering only temperature. Okay, this axis we are only considering temperature. So since I have told you, you know, the if suppose the total length of the rod is around 100 mm, for example. So the thermocouples are situated at equal distance, right? At equal distances. Okay, so basically you can plot what is the temperature at point the first thermocouple. Okay, so definitely at the first thermocouple the temperature would be maximum. Okay, suppose this is our T1, and second point would be somewhere here T2, and third is again downward. So there is a negative slope that you basically you'll get. Okay, so just connect all these points. This would be the temperatures, and okay, so this is nothing but we call it as dt. Okay, this is our dt, that is change in temperature, and this is our dx. So you can get the value of dt upon dx from the graph, okay, or from the slope. So now in our expression we know area of cross section, we know dt by dx, we know the value of m, we know the value of cp, we know the value of dt. So finally we can find out what is the value of k for this particular rod. Okay, and similarly you can definitely change for the second reading. You just need to change the voltage. So basically all the terms would change, and again you have to wait for some time in order to get a steady state. And again finally you just put up this formula of heat balance, and you can determine the value of k again. Okay, so in this way this experiment has to be performed. Thank you.